Yo, what it do, goons? The big dog is back to talk 2K. Now, I know 2K released a feature preview and some first look screenshots earlier, but I'm not here to talk about that. Now, if you want me to give my opinion on that, on, a feature preview and what we can expect, then let me know and I'll see about getting around to that. But right now, I want to talk about some gameplay improvements. Now, gameplay to me has always been consistent in 2K. I don't think that consistency means that it's getting better every year. I just think that consistency is looked at as we know exactly what to expect from it, right? Now, with the new generation of hardware, we know that 2K is going to always attempt to push the boundaries of the product further and further. They make visual overhaul enhancements and things of that nature, and then they add more features. But even with these visual upgrades, even with these new features, there are some 2K gameplay issues that truly hold the product back. Now, we all know that, but today I want to talk about 4 key ways that I believe 2K can actually improve the gameplay, which I think could turn around and improve the quality of life with the game itself. So let's dive into it. All right, so the first one is a little technical, and I'm gonna keep it as simple as possible. The servers, okay? Now, most people think that 2K just needs more servers, but I think it's a little deeper than that. I think it's time to finally leave the Amazon Web Services behind. I know it's a good option. They probably got a really good deal on it and everything, but I've said this multiple times over the past couple of years. AWS is good for games, but most of the big companies that use it talk about how they use it for their shooters. But I think it's time that they switch over to like Azure Cloud Gaming. We've seen what they're starting to do and the impact that they have when it comes down to cloud gaming. First of all, you see things like an improved connectivity. You can see things like decreased latency and minimize the server crashes. If you don't believe me, just look into it a little bit. Now, this isn't a pitch for it, Azure Cloud Gaming. It's not a marketing ploy. I don't work for them or nothing like that. But it's just looking at what the platform has actually been able to do over the past couple of years alone. First of all, you start off with xCloud. xCloud started off with heavy latency. I know because I was in the preview program. And it didn't have that many games, but it had a lot of latency in the games that it did have. And it was like, oh, this is a good idea, but right now it's buggy. It's buggy. But they slowly made improvements and they continue to grow. So now they're starting to add even more and more games to the cloud side of things. And single player experiences are quite enjoyable on it. You might want to be on a home network or some kind of wireless network, but you don't want to really do it too much on your own network unless your strength is just that potent. I'm trying to tell you. But they growing off of that. The next company, of course, is PlayStation. PlayStation was using Azure data centers when they teamed up with Microsoft, and those things were that team up was used to improve the PlayStation network. And hopefully soon they'll start to apply it to the PS Now. Now, the game that's benefited from Azure Cloud Gaming was Rainbow Six Siege. Now, in Rainbow Six Siege, they use Azure Cloud Gaming, and that game went on to become one of the smoothest online experiences to date. Like, I literally read reports about how they reduced DDoS attacks by upwards of 93%. When it comes down to input lag and latency, it's one of the best products to put out there. But it's not the only product to put out there. That leads us to number 2. Okay, this one's gonna sound a little weird, but just hear me out. Let me get to the point. I think 2K needs to hire a developer that specializes in fighting games. A few developers that specialize in fighting games. Now, I'm not the biggest or best by far fighting game fan, but I'd be lying if I say they aren't the best at understanding and nearly perfecting advanced online battle games and battle systems. Now, and I'm not saying have them build 2K. I'm not even saying have them build 2K's online game modes. What I'm saying is you need people who can help to optimize the code and remove redundancies for online modes. Now, hear me out when I say this. Look at a fighting game. When you look at a game like MK11, right? This game has a list of moves for each character, and every move can be countered with the knowledge of its break and timed input. In these games, this alone creates a skill gap. Okay, so when you look at a fighting game and the simple fact that doing one thing creates a skill gap, it's not about attributes. It's not about completely just. It's not about just completely knowing your player. You can know all of your character's moves and still be the worst MK11 player on the planet. I know because that's me. You see what I'm saying? But if you know your opponent, you know what your opponent likes to do, and you know the moves that you can counter to get you back on the offensive of his moves that he liked to do, you can force him to have to change his game plan up and find a new way to beat you. Now, that's basketball right there, okay? If 2K were to add some kind of fighting game developers, we could not only see the improvement in latency because we would see them reduce code where unnecessary, and I'll get to that in just a second. But if we were to partner them with like the research team, whose job is like break down NBA footage and help the designers to design these new moves and incorporate them in the game, we could see things like every dribble, every dunk, every jump shot. Not only have better control, but better smart counters put in place instead of it's a random, draw of the hat. Okay, so let's look at things like Rec and Pro-Am. If Rec and Pro-Am game code is reduced to just the core of it, I think that we'll see things like the crowd disappearing because they just sit there like statues or forced labor. I'm just saying. Then you look at something like the park. Now, this is just me spitballing a little bit. The park could improve based on the simple fact of just reducing things like the skybox to being called at the end of the game instead of every few seconds or every ping. So if you understand how server-side games work, they usually call code. And I don't want to confuse nobody or nothing like that. But I just really believe that if we have people who specialize in fighting games, they look at the single player elements and they say, okay, well, this is what's not necessary. This shouldn't be needed for your multiplayer game. And I'm not saying they do this right away. I'm saying they come in and get that study, get that look of it, and we could see those small improvements. That's one of the biggest things that I would love to see 2K do. I'm not saying that a fighting game specialist is going to, make the game great, but I think that we can learn something from the way that they do their games. Fighting games are down to the point where it's all about the number of frames that it takes for a move to actually perform or execute. And it brings that to a whole nother skill level. That's why I suck at fighting games. Okay, so I would love to see something like that. Hire a developer that can help truly break down code and help remove redundancies. I think a fighting game specialist developer would be perfect for it. Okay, so this one's kind of simple. It's really simple, and that's revamp control schemes. Now, I don't know if y'all remember back in like 2K9, 2K10, 2K11, they used to have multiple control schemes, depending on how you like to play. Maybe you wanted to utilize a lot of the new features and advanced controls for dribbling. Maybe you wanted to simplify your controls because you just, wanted to be able to shoot, basic crossover moves, depends on how you like to play. Now, I think that the controls have gotten too simplistic now because back in the day, I remember like for real, in order to do a bounce pass, like you had to hold left trigger and press A. Instead, you remember back in the day, B used to be you had to press B and then X to do a spin dunk. Now everything is just too easy. Double tap X while you run into the basket, spin dunk, you're getting bodies. I really think that it's not to get rid of the simplistic controls, but I really think it's time to reevaluate where the priorities are when it comes down to controls. I wouldn't mind seeing more advanced controls. If you follow my my career series, you see me doing advanced moves that for real, I didn't study or learn to do. I don't feel like I'm, this elite ball handler, but it makes me feel like I'm an elite ball handler. Do I like it? Yes, of course. But I do want to see the difference between me playing, elite ball handler, air quotes, to someone who actually works on his stick skills and having a more bigger arsenal. And if I want to, have a bigger arsenal, then I go and say, okay, I want to use advanced controls now. I use shot aiming when I played career, and I had fun with that because it added another layer to me. So I wouldn't mind seeing things like the old LT or L2 modifier return for size ups. I wouldn't mind seeing things like the LT or L2 modifier adjusting how you make passes instead of just hoping that you get the bounce pass, hoping that you get the correct pass, the overhead pass. Like you got A, B, and Y on offense that are literally just pass buttons. And X to shoot. That's as simplistic as it gets. That is like playing NHL 94 with arcade mode on, or today's NHL with arcade mode on. I want to see advanced controls return. Now, I'm not saying remove simple controls. Let's get that straight. But I do believe having advanced controls allows players who master them to pull off better combinations. Now, simple controls would allow anyone to have fun, but having advanced control options allows everyone to have fun. Why is it that it allows everyone to have fun? Because those who believe that, the simple controls are best for them, that they're good with those, they'll be able to have their fun and enjoy themselves. Those who want to be able to pull off nastier combinations and nastier chains feel and have more control of it to a point where they do a combination like, that's exactly what I was trying to do. And that's what it comes down to. Little things like that changes the dynamic of the game and creates another level to the skills gap. It's kind of like, small rant, if you look at GTA, the one big option in GTA that can change your online experience is if you go into the options and you change your aim mode. If you change your aim mode to assisted, you'll be put into a lobby with just people with assisted aim. If you change your aim mode to no aim, free aim, then you're put into a lobby with cats that are using free aim. And I tried that on PC with a controller. Got smoked the whole time I was out there. So I wouldn't mind seeing little things like that. It's all about those little options that really just, wow, something so simple could really benefit the game. And that brings us to the last point. All right, the last thing I am going to talk about is, of course, how attributes need to matter. But this one is a two-edged blade. At the end of the day, I think they did a fantastic job when it came down to the My Player Builder. And I don't want to see them going back to a more restrictive structure. I like a free-form structure because I created a good build that I enjoy playing with. Not a lot of people put that build out there, and that was cool. And then some people did get creative and everything like that and do some really, really good things. But for the most part, people found the meta build and went with that. And so I understand you got people that want to be able to compete, but I truly believe that skills need to matter, but the attributes have to be something that they take a look at. Things like steal should matter. Strength needs to matter. Speed, acceleration need to matter. Those things, the only thing they matter in is that they allow you to unlock certain badges, which matter more than the attributes themselves. You play a game where you turn off all of your shooting badges and everything, you'll hit some shots and everything, but you won't be consistent, and that's stupid. Soon as you turn a badge on bronze, all of a sudden you can shoot the lights out the gym. Come on now. Badges should not be the be all end all. That's why everybody wants to have a build that got 72 badges. They don't care about a build that can get 3 or 4 solid, great badges at high levels. They only care about being able to get more badges. Why? Because I can get this badge on bronze, this badge on bronze, this badge on bronze, this badge on silver, this badge on gold, and the rest of these on bronze, and I'm going to be able to do everything. You see what I'm saying? That's not the way it should be. But also, like I said, strength has to matter. Speed has to matter. It's really not too much to talk about when it comes down to attributes needing to matter. We all know what they need to do. And that is really reevaluate how these attributes take over and control the game. And so I'm hoping that we see a big improvement there. But I don't want to see My Player Builder go away. I like the way it is, but I want to see these attributes matter. So those are my 4 key points that 2K need to focus on to improve gameplay. Now, let me know whether you agree or disagree. What did I miss out on? I know there are other things that 2K can do to improve the game, but those are just 4 things that I think I want to say it starts there and then we build on top of. And let me know what you think down in the comments below. Make sure you hit that like button if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We'll be covering 2K content when it comes down to the news that drops over the course of the summer. But also, you already know we about to get back in for season 4 of my career. We're chasing the 3-peat, so be on the lookout for the first episode of season 4, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.